Moving on to round 2 of the Kansas City Regional Championships. Here we've got some 2 high-ranking players here with lots of CP under the belt. Cedric Bernier, also known as Talon, versus Benji Irons. Calls himself Benji the Great. Cedric has 290 CP. That's pretty close to what's the predicted cut for Worlds, the top 40 cut Worlds this year. And Benji's not far behind. If he does really manage to top cut this tournament, he may be able to secure his position a lot better.
So Cedric actually came in first in a regional earlier this year, but that's his only regional result that is really sticking out. He doesn't have any other CP from regionals. Benji, on the other hand, placed in the top 16 and top 64. Both players have had some really good results at Premier Challenges as well. Today on the top of your screen, Cedric is running Charizard, Venusaur, Rotom Wash, Landorus, Heatran, and Scrafty. On the bottom of your screen, you'll see Benji's team: Kangaskhan, Breloom, Rotom Heat, Suicune, Aegislash, and Landorus.
Now, before we got this all set up, players were talking about how they actually knew each other's teams really well. In fact, so much that when Benji forgot one of his own Pokemon, the last Pokemon, Cedric actually remembered it for him.
So this is probably going to be a match with a lot of prediction skills, I imagine. They know each other's teams. They know the moveset. It's going to be a lot of mind games this time.
Well, they don't have to do too much guessing about what the other player has, unless one of them did change something the night before as a surprise to the other. Anyway.
How do you feel about these matchups?
Well, let's see. Looking at Cedric's team, he's got a pretty standard, likely Sun team with Charizard Y and Venusaur obviously having the Chlorophyll ability, giving it a speed boost under Sun. Of course, that could secretly be a Mega Venusaur. Some teams are known to have both, just for the mixed mode. Mega Venusaur being extremely bulky and hard to take down, especially in concert with Heatran. So there's a lot of weather-based synergy here on Cedric's team. Meanwhile, Benji opting for a lot of offense, like first-round offense with Kangaskhan and its frightening fake out. Of course, the Breloom Spore. The Venusaur could pose problems for it, potentially.
I can't see Breloom being a really good choice with a potential Mega Charizard and a Venusaur that it can't spore. And a Heatran too, probably not the best matchup for Benji.
Yeah, I do see the Rotom being a huge asset against Cedric's Sun team because of its resistance. And Landorus, if it's Choice Scarf, Rock Slides will threaten that Charizard pretty well.
So our players have chosen their 4 Pokemon. They are ready to begin. So excited to see how this turns out. 2 top players.
Okay. Benji leading with the Kangaskhan Suicune out against Sun. Could be a little problematic, but against Charizard the Venusaur here, we may see Mega here on the field. That would put Suicune in his place pretty quickly. Then Timidity coming out, putting down Kangaskhan's attack power.
Cedric seems to have the upper hand with these leads at the moment.
So far, I mean,
Benji could easily switch out for something else that might be able to gain momentum on the field, but we can anticipate fake out from both sides, Kangaskhan, Scrafty, and then see what Venusaur and Suicune decide to do.
Yeah, I actually kind of expect Benji might switch out Kangaskhan here, or at least after the first turn, just to get rid of that attack drop there. Maybe going for his tail and a Suicune just to get its speed advantage here, but frankly, Benji already has a speed advantage here with the Kangaskhan and Suicune likely very much faster than either Scrafty or Venusaur. But
Kangaskhan decides to stay in and is going to Mega Evolve turn 1. Bringing the baby out of the pouch. As Venusaur also Mega Evolves, so
that may mean Cedric has left Charizard on the bench here. So.
Alright, Kangaskhan leads with a fake out onto that Scrafty. Probably good choice. It's not going to get Drain Punched in return. Scrafty's not going to get off its own fake out either. Suicune with a Scald onto Scrafty, hoping for a burn chance, but doesn't get it. And Venusaur with a Giga Drain onto Suicune. Almost 50%.
That's a respectable chunk to Suicune there. It has a Citrus Berry. It hasn't done any damage to activate it yet. But that it really. But Suicune may survive the next turn thanks to a Cedric Berry I predict it's probably going to have. But Cedric's still in a good position here. Benji's going to have to switch out here to gain some offensive momentum here.
Any predictions on what he might replace that Kangaskhan with?
Breloom would actually be a solid choice. Well, actually, maybe not. It's not wise to willy-nilly switch in Breloom since it's not very defensively bulky. It has to have a focus sash just to withstand attacks.
Well, he does decide to switch out that Kangaskhan and instead brings in a Landorus that's going to get an Intimidate off on that Scrafty and reduce its attack, so...
Okay, that's respectable, but it may not give Benji the offensive potential he's looking for here.
He also switches out his Suicune for Rotom Heat, yes. And Venusaur also reveals a Sludge Bomb onto Landorus. Doesn't get very much damage off as a Scrafty Drain punches the Landorus. Also, not very much damage. These are pretty low.
Cedric may have been anticipating the Breloom switch there, or going for the Kangaskhan. Either way, it would have taken a serious threat outfield. That's a good prediction, perhaps, by Benji there, switching the Landorus to take two very non-effective attacks. So Benji's now in a solid defensive position again, and he has a Rotom which can start burning. A burn on that Venusaur would actually be really helpful here in taking it down, with the residual damage racking up every turn. Landorus, it could start firing off Earthquakes right away, actually, dealing with some respectable damage to Venusaur and Scrafty. But Venusaur's pretty tough. It probably isn't going to take much unless that Landorus is also Choice Banded, but they usually aren't.
So Landorus does decide to Earthquake this time. Rotom avoids it with that Levitate ability, and it's going to hit both of Cedric's Pokemon. Does a good chunk of damage to Scrafty, about 25% to the Venusaur, and Rotom gets the Will-O-Wisp off on Scrafty, so that's going to severely reduce its attack. Venusaur with a Giga Drain takes away a good chunk of Landorus' health and heals itself back. Scrafty returning with that Drain Punch into Landorus. With that burn, doesn't do very much damage at all, only about 5 HP. That's what it looks like.
Yeah, not the greatest trade-offs for Benji here. I mean, he did get a burn off on a Scrafty, but it was already pretty weakened. It wasn't going to do much. Meanwhile, in return, the Venusaur is still very close to full health, and his Landorus is down to under a third of health, under 25% even, I believe.
That Venusaur is pretty scary, especially with a Suicune in the back, weak to that Giga Drain. It can keep restoring health.
Yeah.
Kangaskhan might be a good solution to that Venusaur.
If the Kangaskhan has Power Up Punch, and in order to make it hit hard enough to take out Venusaur before it can faster than it will recover health, then that would be a good plan here. But
next turn, Landorus using Earthquake again, probably hoping to get the Scrafty off on the field, but it really can't do much, burned and intimidated. So Scrafty is knocked out, and Rotom tries to get the Will-O-Wisp up on Venusaur, but it misses, and Venusaur with a Sludge Bomb, enough to take out that Landorus. So, both players knocking out someone this turn.
Yeah. But still no... Okay, a little damage on the Venusaur there. Was that a overheat that I just missed?
Earthquake.
Sorry, what did the Rotom do again? I was signing.
Will-O-Wisp. Will-O-Wisp missed on Venusaur.
Of course, on Cybertron's channel, Will-O-Wisp is going to miss. So, Benji taking a while to pick his next mon. Maybe he might be playing for a timer stall here. Currently, the Pokemon score is tied 3-3. I think Benji might be expecting that there he has no other choice except to let the Venusaur just sit there and take out all of Cedric's other less bulky Pokemon there, because he doesn't seem to have the best answer on the field to Venusaur there.
Well, he does decide to bring in Kangaskhan as Cedric returns with a Landorus. Unfortunately, that's going to reduce Kangaskhan's attack by one stage.
Okay. Well, at least Benji still has another Pokemon in the back. He can still cycle out second Kangaskhan to get rid of that Intimidate drop.
problem with Suicune is we saw how much damage it took from that Venusaur Giga Drain, so it's not like it can survive too much longer. That Venusaur could be a really big problem.
Yeah, then the Intimidate, of course, helping its survivability a lot. But that Landorus is probably Scarfed. I expect a Will-O-Wisp into that slot, assuming Cedric doesn't have a Heatran in the back. That would be
dangerous
that would
choice
be
to make.
dangerous indeed, as that would activate Heatran's Flash Fire ability.
But Benji has to make some bold decisions if he's going to win this match. So Kangaskhan with a Fake Out on the Landorus. Probably a strong decision to make. As Landorus cannot move, and the Rotom with the Will-O-Wisp, but again, another miss.
The Cybertron Curse strikes again.
Interestingly enough, we see the Leech Seed on Venusaur, so it is going to last for a really long time, pairing that Giga Drain, restoring health, and Leech Seed now on that Kangaskhan. Cedric seems to have the momentum in this match.
Yeah, I don't see any other way maybe with a power-up punch here, but right now the Landorus can do a Scarf Rock Slide, go for some flinches. That'll hit that Rotom pretty hard. But if Rotom doesn't flinch, maybe it'll miss Will-O-Wisp again. Yeah, unfortunately, Lady Luck is not on Benji's side today.
That's what happens when you use moves with less than 100% accuracy. Spending a lot of time using status attacks instead of directly attacking the Pokemon themselves. Landorus is going to U-turn this time. It can bring in an Intimidate later again if Kangaskhan is still on the field or if Benji decides to swap it out. Cedric has to decide what he's going to bring, so we'll see that last Pokemon.
Oh, that could be the Heatran. The Heatran, aside from Thunderbolt, is of course a pretty respectable switch into Rotons here.
Well, we can see he's taking a lot of time to select this only other Pokemon, so perhaps he is going for the timer stall, if anything.
That's a lot of time they've been taken by a U-turn, actually, in one turn. 45 seconds to select a move, and then another 45 seconds to select a Pokemon.
And the clock begins ticking away.
No, turns out Cedric did not have a Heatran, brings in his own Rotom Wash. Kangaskhan goes to the Power Punch, just in time. Bring it to +1 attack, but Cedric could just bring in this Landorus next turn, resetting it back to 0.
And Benji's lucky getting that Power Punch off. Hopefully that's going to give him an attack boost.
Benji breaks the curse, but maybe 1 or 2 turns too late. Kangaskhan going to be down to under 25% after this Leech Seed here.
So it's now at +1 attack due to those Intimidates. Do you predict Sucker Punch, maybe a return? What's Kangaskhan going to have to do? It's going to survive not much longer.
It will have to do in return here, but the Landorus is just going to come in and neutralize its attack power anyway. So Cedric is now is pretty clearly playing for the timer here, and it is in his favor as he's very close to taking out the Kangaskhan and making it a 3-2 situation. So, of course, we have, and right now Benji doesn't have the offense in the back. Suicune is primarily Suicune and Rotom are primarily support Pokemon here. They don't have the offense to take on a Venusaur, or a Rotom, or a Landorus, let alone a Venusaur. Maybe the Landorus. They can hit it super effective.
Well, you were correct. Cedric decides to bring in that Landorus again. Kangaskhan back to neutral attack stat as it uses Power-Up Punch again
on its own
Rotom.
Probably expecting Venusaur to protect and block the return. So Kangaskhan is now back up to +2 special attack. But no, Venusaur goes for the Giga Drain, finishing off the Kangaskhan. It didn't even get to use its boosted attack power once this match.
Well, it's not like he had too many options. He really needed a way to take control in this match, and a +3 Kangaskhan is better than
Yeah, the Will-O-Wisp really hurt him hard, and it pretty much nullified any chance he had of coming back in this game.
That Venusaur has been the problem most of the match now that Benji sends in his last Pokemon, Suicune. Is there any way he could get lucky enough to take this match, or do we think Cedric's really sealed the deal at this point?
Cedric really has sealed the deal here. Aside from this Will-O-Wisp misses, the few times the Will-O-Wisp actually hit probably may have been better suited for Venusaur here with its residual damage here. It's hard to say. Venusaur recovers health so quickly.
And I don't think Rotom's done anything other than try to hit Will-O-Wisp this entire match.
That is true, but there's not many legitimate targets for it. Overheat, Venusaur has a thick bat to protect it from fire moves. And of course, it resists Thunderbolt as well. So there's a little better Rotom can be doing this time.
Landorus goes for Rock Slide. Rotom finally becoming damaged. Goes down to about 25%. Suicune does eat the Citrus Berry, but that Giga Drink do a massive amount of damage. Rotom finally attacks, reveals Overheat, hits that Venusaur. That thick fat ability going to protect it from being knocked out.
Not even half damage. And is just going to this recovers with Giga Drain almost to
mitigate any of that damage. And Suicune unfortunately flinched that turn too, so Benji's just not having the luck this match at all.
Hopefully today Benji has gotten all his bad luck out of this system in this match here. Hopefully he doesn't have to face any more Venusaurs like that today. Seeing a Venusaur just going from full health to half health, then full health again like 3 times during a match, that's got to be pretty demoralizing for any player.
And then looking at his team, does he even have a good matchup against any Venusaurs? I think we said that Kangaskhan would be like the best answer.
Yeah, Benji knew Kangaskhan had to be his answer to Venusaur here. He would have to get some power-up punches in, but Cedric just didn't let him get a chance. He had the attack power under control the whole time with those Intimidates.
All right, so we're going to take a break shortly. I do just want to reiterate for anyone that just